Alrighty, welcome back. We are live. We're not going to be live for a ton of time today, but we are going to be live at least for a little bit here as our severe weather threat really has fallen apart a decent amount. But you will see there is this one cell that I'm watching out here in Indiana, and this is out in northeastern Indiana here. And I'm just paying close attention to it just to the southwest of Fort Wayne because it's tried a couple times to develop a little bit of rotation. The problem is we'll go back in frames here and show you'll see it looks all right here in terms of morphology, and it's got a little bit of weak rotation. The problem is this thing is almost entirely outflow dominant here. I always forget to launch my pen tool. But take a look at this. Look at how outflow dominant we are here with this storm. So essentially, you've just got this crazy outflow boundary getting kicked out from the storm, and it's a little more apparent even as we go back a couple of frames here. You can really see it nicely on radar, but this thing is just very outflow dominant. So despite the fact that it has looked all right a couple of times, especially like on this frame, it really hasn't posed a significant tornado threat at all, or really any tornado threat for that matter. It is weakening a little bit here as it continues on in time, but it could try to recycle again. It did have an RFD at one point, even embedded behind that outflow boundary. I don't know where that frame was. It was kind of around the time where, yeah, like this frame, you can maybe see a little bit of an RFD trying to form here, even on the inside of that outflow boundary. But again, just way too outflow dominant to be tornadic. So not anything super concerning, but that's the storm that I've been paying attention to for a little while here. And we're just going to be live for a little while, just in case it's a very low end tornado threat tonight. The traffic cameras that you're seeing are all surrounding this storm out here in Indiana. And this is near Huntington, just to the southwest of Fort Wayne. See some folks out in the chat. Texas Indoor Baseball. We got Robert Grifter. We got Johnny Melancholy. A lot of folks out there. So good to see everybody. Hope everyone's doing okay. Again, not the most active severe weather day by any stretch, but still something to pay attention to just in case. There are other areas of concern today. And I'll go ahead and I'm going to show the outlook map here for a quick moment. Here's today's categorical outlook. You're going to see we have a couple of different areas of concern. One of those is going to be back towards eastern Colorado off the Rockies. And I do think we could see some larger hailstones out there for sure, maybe on the order of just maybe above 2 inches. Maybe we get a couple of isolated instances where we could see some hailstones that are closer to around tennis ball size, but I don't think it's going to be a significant threat. You're going to see that wind threat, though, even down into my neck of the woods where I'm at right now in Mississippi. And that is going to be for that slight risk down there. And we already saw that wind bag start to push on through our area. That's part of the reason I was delayed getting live, because I couldn't get home quite quick enough as I finished teaching this afternoon, because we had a little bit of a couple rumbles of thunder rolling through with just a little bit of a wind bag. We had a bunch of convergent outflow boundaries in my area as well. That was really interesting to see. But in general, not anything super concerning on the map. You're going to see that severe thunderstorm warning for the storm here that is now near Uniondale or Markle has been lifted. So not anything particularly concerning with any of those storms. It does have a mesocyclone, very broad rotation in there, but it's not super concerning. Got a question about the DFW storm. We can go ahead and go down that direction here. There is a severe thunderstorm. This severe thunderstorm warning, I should say. Look at how outflow dominant this one is too. You can see a very nice outflow boundary getting kicked out by this storm. So this one could be easily producing gusts of 60 miles per hour, even areas that aren't going to get hit by the actual precipitation as it moves down towards like Arlington, for example, but areas such as Benbrook or Springtown, even Weatherford or Aledo, those types of areas are getting hit by this gust front associated with the outflow boundary that's just going to continue down areas like that. So some gustier winds are going to be present out there for sure. Maybe a couple of small hailstones. Most of those probably won't reach the surface, but we could see a couple of instances of some small hail just north of Fort Worth. Scott, good to see you in the chat. Can Joliet have a severe thunderstorm or risk? Let me go back up there. If I can even find a way to get up there easily. I guess I can't. There's no severe thunderstorm warnings in that area now. But generally, no. Joliet should be fine. You're going to see there isn't a lot going on in your neck of the woods right now in the whole Chicago area. And that trend will continue for most of the evening. So not really any concern out there in the greater Chicago area. Down in Arizona, it's still monsoon season, of course. So we got some stronger storms just popping up, one near Globe or Miami here. This is just going to be due east of Phoenix. That's actually the only one out there right now. There is one. or I should say a couple out here in Colorado. You'll see one of them in southern Colorado. This is out near Gardner or Rye. That storm could be producing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe some small hail. And then just outside of Denver, closer to Castle Rock, we got a stronger cell out here. This one could be maybe producing up to ping pong ball sized hail. It's possible. And again, any of these storms that persist in this environment for long periods of time and can really get themselves established, taking advantage of all that shear that is present in eastern Colorado, those could definitely pose a risk for a couple of larger hailstones on the order of maybe 2 inches. So definitely something that we got to watch pretty closely, but not something that's like, super, super concerning for this evening. Down in Oklahoma, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning as well, actually a pair of them. Some more outflow dominant storms that are kicking out a lot of wind here near Hanobia or Whitesboro. You're going to see tagged for some very small hail in those storms as well, not anything super concerning. And then in Arkansas, that's where things are really messy. And again, it's been messy down in Mississippi as well. We can show this if I can get it to load. This is that little wind bag that kind of went through my neck of the woods just a little while ago. More scattered storms out in Alabama as well. But in Arkansas, it's a little bit more organized and a lot more instability. So a lot more of these explosive thunderstorm towers that just fire off, and it's just a giant mess. Everything's just kind of over top of one another here. So just something to pay attention to, some stronger storms out there. There's probably a decent bit of lightning. It looks like my place file manager went away. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. What in the world? All right. Here's some lightning. I don't really like that one that much. Which lightning should I do? Try this one. Usually works all right. There you go. Here's some good lightning out here. You can see a lot of lightning with these storms in Arkansas. That's the point I'm trying to make, is just that there is a lot of lightning with these storms and some gustier winds, but not really a significant hail threat or anything like that. A couple isolated updrafts could produce some hail. Definitely would be smaller hail if we had anything like that. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning just a minute ago, I believe. Yeah, just a minute ago. And that's going to be down towards Meridian, Mississippi here in southeastern, or really just eastern Mississippi. As again, that's the wind bag that just went through my neck of the woods in Starkville, Mississippi, not long ago. Of course, Starkville is right here, just north of this storm that just basically went due south of me moments ago. And that one is headed down towards I-20 and Meridian. So could bring some gustier winds out in that direction. And that's really it. That's all we have going on around the country right now. Again, we do still have a handful of stronger storms out here in eastern Colorado, or really like central Colorado, just southeast of Denver. And then we are watching for a couple of tornadoes being possible, unlikely, but possible. And that's going to be back up really into Indiana and southeastern Michigan here. With any of these storms, if any of them cannot be outflow dominant and really get themselves going, we could see a little bit of a tornado threat with those storms. But again, it's very low end. It's not anything I'm very concerned about, but just something to pay attention to as we go forward through the next couple hours. This is not going to be a super long broadcast tonight. We did just get a new upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma. I'm going to assume that was for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts here with these. It could be a downburst. Yeah, it could be some sort of a downburst going on out here. We're gonna see which one of these polygons got upgraded in just a moment. I guess it could be for hail. But again, not a super concerning threat for this evening. And as a result, we won't be live for that long. But we will be live for at least a couple of hours here. Maybe we'll go until about 9 p.m. Central Time. So here's that upgrade on that considerable severe thunderstorm warning. It is for golf ball size hail. So we can actually take a look at that hail core. And you'll see it's not incredibly impressive, but it is still something worth paying attention to right in the middle of your screen there. I know it's like close to those cameras, but you can still see it. Some of those magentas, those are your 60 dBz values, getting lofted close to 30,000 feet in the air, well above 25,000 feet. So again, not the most impressive hail core in the world, but definitely could be producing maybe ping pong to golf ball size hail. So still worth paying attention to. And again, that's kind of going to be the trend for the majority of the night, is not that concerning, but still worth paying attention to. That's going to be basically the overarching theme here this evening. So not a significant severe weather event this evening by any stretch. We're going to go ahead and stay with some of these storms in Arkansas here as time goes on, and we're able to continue watching how everything plays out here tonight. But again, it's just not seeming like a super high-end day, which is obviously the good news here. Pull that back up to here. There is a pretty, I'll show this again because there is a pretty considerable fire weather risk that's going to be in place. Let me just go ahead and center this a little better, but there is going to be a pretty decent fire weather risk out here towards like the tri-state region of California, Nevada, and Oregon. And then you're going to see that risk for some isolated dry thunderstorms as well in western Montana and parts of Idaho. And then there's even more fire weather risk back down towards LA. And that's going to be the same exact trend for tomorrow, almost identical setup for tomorrow. So definitely something worth paying attention to. So if you are on the West Coast, make sure that you're paying attention to that fire weather warning, and don't be burning anything for no reason, or just in general. Derek, good to see you in the chat. Let's see, we got Kinglar. Why were there tornado sirens in Hazlitt / Justin? What state are you talking about? There's not been a single tornado warning today so far. So if they went off, I honestly don't know why they would have gone off. Tests are done at the beginning of the month, so it wouldn't have been for testing in Texas. Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest with you, why there would be tornado warnings going off. There has not been a single tornado warning today thus far. Hazlitt is in Tarrant. So it is like down here outside of the DFW area. So I understand. But yeah, there has not been there's Hasler in the middle of my screen. Yeah, there has not been any tornado warnings at all today. And there have not been any in Texas, obviously, either. But there have been some stronger winds. You're going to see this gust front continuing to get pushed out, that outflow boundary from this storm here. You can see on radar just pushing out. It's about to roll right on through downtown Fort Worth right now. So a very, very large outflow boundary here, and definitely gusty winds associated with it. Not anything super, super concerning, though. Mesoscale discussion in western Nebraska. That's what I'm hearing. I haven't actually read any mesoscale discussions just yet, but give me a moment and I'll find that and give it a read here. Okay, I see it. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense from what I looked at this morning anyway, and I would probably agree with it. It looks like the Goodland radar is down. That's not ideal. But yeah, so definitely could see some stronger thunderstorms out here in the Nebraska Panhandle. We talked about that in our forecast video this morning as well. But we are going to be seeing definitely that potential. It looks like they had, from an observed sounding, they had a very long straight hodograph with 35 to 40 knots of effective shear. So let's see, steep mid-level lapse rates. So all of that is going to, in fact, support that splitting supercell and hail-producing supercell type of environment. So definitely could see some storms. The problem is you're not going to have a ton of lift in that area, but if you can get any storms that can convect out in that area, they definitely will pose that risk for some larger hailstones, without a doubt. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning for this storm that is latched onto this outflow boundary down here in eastern Colorado. That one's going to be for Lincoln County in Colorado, so just south of Boyero, west of Kit Carson. Of course, we know that Jessica Moore has taken some incredible photos out in that neck of the woods, like right in this area, literally. So, Liam, I appreciate the congrats on the 2.5 thousand subscriber mark. We are very, very happy to have hit that. Logan, good to see you in the chat. Derek, yourself as well. Of course, Liam too. Do I think today's tornado risk is fully busted? Yeah, I think it's very unlikely that we'll see a tornado today. It's still possible that we see like one, but I think it's very unlikely. So we're going to be live just for a couple of hours, maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours max. Unless something, if it starts to materialize, of course, we'll stay live longer. But yeah, we'll be live for at least like a couple of hours here. And we'll just play it by ear, see how things progress. See, I might be able to get a couple of decent cameras out in Colorado. So here's an all right one. We'll put this one in slot 2 there. See if I can't find any other good ones. A lot of traffic in Colorado that I'm seeing on these cameras. Put this one in top left. So at least some interesting structure worth paying attention to. So Papa Earl, good to see you in the chat. Looks like we are getting a little bit of an uptick on this severe thunderstorm over here, just to the southeast of Denver. And that could be something to watch for sure. Possibly for an upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for golf ball size hail. Let's take a look at that hail core here. Yeah, still a relatively young storm, but you'll see it's got a pretty strong updraft that's starting to build close to around 30,000 feet here. So you're going to see some of those silvers and grays in the bottom of this updraft here starting to get thrown into the mix. So that'll be interesting to watch to see how that progresses. If that will continue, we could definitely see an upgrade to a considerable severe thunderstorm warning there for that golf ball sized hail. We do have a considerable flash flood in Colorado. Okay, my radar program just crashed. We have a considerable flash flood warning out in Colorado for El Paso, Fremont, and Pueblo counties over here, and that's going to be near Stone City. And it's going to last for another about 2 hours there, where at least some flash flooding is ongoing or expected to occur shortly. So if there is any, it's probably already ongoing by this point. So all right, we did get a new severe thunderstorm warning in Indiana, just southwest of Indianapolis. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick look-see over at this one here, which does have a broad embedded mesocyclone trying to form here near Stilesville. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, to see if we could see any type of maybe mesoscale-induced tornadic action trying to form out there. Again, it's still very low risk, low probability, but something worth paying attention to. And of course, we are going to continue to monitor everything here as we go forward through the evening. You're going to see that line of storms here with our cold front just dragging all the way back down, even close to Effingham here. So just that large cold front dragging on down. It's going to bring more severe weather tomorrow as well, back towards the northeast. But today it has not really materialized very well. The synoptic, especially like the low-level shear and just the overall synoptic setup, has not been super ideal for any robust type of severe weather this evening. So definitely a pretty low-end threat. But again, we're going to be live regardless to make sure that we stay with things just in case here. Down in Arkansas, still a severe thunderstorm warning. That one's going to be right near Little Rock, where there is definitely some higher velocities mixed in here. I mean, near Cato, for example, at only 350 feet in the air, we're seeing velocities scanning in well above 60 miles per hour. So I'm kind of surprised that this is not a considerable severe thunderstorm warning here, or up to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. It very well could get upgraded to that threshold soon. The other considerable severe thunderstorm warning that we did have did not last long. That one has been downgraded again almost immediately here. And then we're still watching the DFW region as well, where we have that outflow dominant storm kicking out some gusty winds through Fort Worth and just to the west of Dallas right now. And then still other storms to pay attention to out in Colorado. And I think if we do get anything particularly significant here tonight, and by significant, I put a big asterisk with that, we'd be looking at more of like a couple instances of large hail, or maybe a couple instances of 70 mile per hour wind gusts. That might happen out here in eastern Colorado. I don't really think we're going to be seeing any tornadic action tonight, which is the good news. Tomorrow, though, there is still going to be a severe weather threat, and I'll go ahead and show this again really quickly. This is going to, what in the world? Oh, sorry. I lost my mind there for a quick second. You're going to see this tornadic threat. Let me just make this a little easier to see again, like I did before. So they got that slight risk in place back towards the northeast. And then you're going to see that large 2% tornado risk all the way from Philly and then up through Montpelier. So a very, very large 2% risk where we could see at least 1 or 2 tornadoes tomorrow. So still something to watch for tomorrow. And the main threat with that is going to be wind associated with that squall line. The same cold front bringing our weather tonight. Going to bring up more severe weather back towards the northeast tomorrow. And then Friday is probably going to be a lot more calm. Could have some severe weather back down towards the Carolinas. But I don't think we're going to be having a significant severe weather day at all on Friday, which will be nice. Get a little bit of a day off. I will say the 5% made a little bit more sense to me at the time that it was introduced. Now, I don't think I would have put it. I think it was still aggressive, but it made a little more sense to me at that moment. A lot of model guidance, really all of our cams were trending towards a 0 to 1 kilometer environment that was pretty favorable for spin up tornadoes with the QLCS type of threat. So I wasn't incredibly, I wasn't upset with the 5% when it was issued, but I am very glad that they got rid of it at the 8 a.m. update this morning. I think that was a necessary update. Shortwave moving into the Dakotas next week could lead to severe weather, but guidance struggling with moisture return at the moment. Yeah, and it is the summertime, so that moisture return at times, it's actually been pretty solid a lot of the times out here this summer anyway, but in general, a lot of times that moisture return can struggle to seep all the way that far north. You just kind of lack some of that low level and mid level flow to bring that moisture up there a lot of the time. Very heavily dominated by that ridging in the summertime. Did get a severe thunderstorm warning in Kansas. That's going to be back towards Wichita, actually. There's a little bit of a, man, that's crazy looking. There's a crazy looking boundary out here, like basically right around Wichita. That's pretty cool looking here. Just a very cool boundary setup and a storm that has fired off of it and is now embedded into that boundary. That one could be easily bringing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in there and perhaps some small hail. That one's just to the south of Wichita, right down I-35. We're beginning to edge into that autumn-fall season, so it'll be warm, but likely not 80s or 90s reaching into the Dakotas. Yeah, I think we've still got a little ways to go until we get into a more traditional type of fall time setup, essentially. I really don't think we're going to get there just yet. I think it'll take another good 2-3 weeks until we see any type of a traditional fall pattern. But you never know. I could be wrong. We've just had a lot of persistent ridging, and I don't really see it breaking up. Unless we get like a particularly large blast of Arctic air that starts to really push into northern Canada and shake up our jet stream. So, but again, I just don't think it's super likely that we're going to get a robust fall time, autumn time type of setup until a couple of weeks from now. But we do have this crazy looking outflow boundary in Wichita. This is really mesmerizing to look at on radar. I'm going to pull some frames back and we're going to take a longer look at this because there isn't a lot to do, so may as well. Okay, it actually looks like this was some sort of a downburst. This is so cool. Okay, so we had this thunderstorm here near Sedgwick or Bentley, and it just completely, this is so cool looking. Check this out. So this storm is just going to completely collapse. All that air is going to rush to the surface, and it's going to kick out this perfect circle outflow boundary here. And it fired off a new storm because of that outflow, wedging up some moisture out there, forcing some air to rise. near Derby, or Hayesville, Midland Park, just south of Wichita. So we have a new thunderstorm that's developed as a result of the depletion of that old one, and just a very, very cool outflow boundary signature here on radar, just making a big old circle around Wichita. So some pretty unique kinematics going on out here in southern Kansas. So it's always cool when you see those types of things. And of course, our main concern, if there is going to be a tornado risk, it's going to be associated with this line of thunderstorms out here all the way from closer to Effingham here. You can see a couple of thunderstorms still tacking on to the end of that cold front. Even one just in East St. Louis, actually. And it's going to stretch all the way up into the Great Lakes. So here's a look at some more of those thunderstorms developing in Michigan, closer to the low, and where that low is actually centered around. So that is what's driving our severe weather today. Of course, we talked about that in our forecast video this morning. If you haven't watched that, definitely give it a watch. And I'd specifically skip to the chapter. You can see in the description of that video. You can go through the chapters and just skip to the day 2. Now, if you want to know about what's going on today and why we were uncertain for today, why I thought the Storm Prediction Center would get rid of the 5%, which they did, you can watch the whole thing too. But if you just want to know what's coming tomorrow, I would definitely skip to that chapter. It'll say day 2 outlooks. I can just show you what that looks like, actually. Again, there's not a lot going on, so we can we have freedom to look at whatever we feel like looking at here. Here we go. So if you go to today's forecast video, you'll see in the bottom here, in the chapters or the timestamps, and you can even see it at the bottom of the video itself here, like on the thing you drag to go where you want to go. You can just skip to the day 2 outlooks, or you can just click to that timestamp here. Okay, it froze for a moment there. You can just skip to the day 2 outlook, and it'll take you right to when we go into Thursday's severe weather setup. And there's that low pressure system I was just talking about. So we can kind of see where the core of that low pressure system is right now on the map. Looks like it was just a bit further south than I had forecasted. I think I had it going through kind of right through here, through the big ol' Great Lakes region, but I think it's dipping more into Michigan and a little closer to Lake Erie. Yeah, it's kind of cool. You can almost see that core of the low, or at least so it appears anyway. Yeah, I don't have enough frames here, but you can almost see that motion just sort of pulling up and around here with these storms. It's really hard to see in just a couple of frames, but you can sort of see the way they pull. So it's something interesting to pay attention to anyway. Apparently, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning in Canada. We can take a look at it. Yeah, we do. All right, this is going to be not terribly far from BC, or from Vancouver, excuse me. Just off to the east of Vancouver out here. You are going to see this severe thunderstorm warning in place for another 39 minutes, and that one's going to be bringing some gustier winds here. Maybe some small hail in there as well. And you're going to see a couple of severe thunderstorm watches here as well. Again, there isn't a ton of severe weather to cover right now, which is a good thing, of course. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning near Cheyenne, by the way. That one's going to be back towards LaGrange, and this is probably going to be one that could end up being a larger hail producer here. You can already see a hail spike here, even at the lowest tilt angle, which in this case is actually a relatively high tilt angle. It's 0.6 degrees here. You can see a hail spike coming off of this storm here. Definitely already has hail at the low levels. And again, that's only at 2,000 feet in the air. This one is tagged with $half size hail. I'd bet you it could get up to golf ball sized soon. Might not be there just yet. But I will say that's a pretty well sheared updraft here, and decent looking storm. Would not blow my mind at all to see a little bit of development into that golf ball size hail here over time. We were looking at a little bit of an older timestamp. It almost looked like super cellular in nature for a moment there. Really isn't. It just kind of looks funny. How about some volumetrics on a Canada storm? Yeah, we can do that. Courtesy of our friends at Canada Weather, CanadaWx.com. Check them out. There isn't going to be a lot to look at here, but we can still do it. Let's see if I remember how to do it. Nope, not cross section. What am I doing? Volumetric. Okay. Boom. And then we can change that color alpha. Again, there isn't going to be a lot really to look at here, but okay, let's go like here. I'm on the struggle bus here today. Bear with me, guys. All right, that's okay. You can see, again, this is just not a super impressive storm right now, but we do have at least something to look at here, getting up to around like 7 kilometers or something in the air. So still something to pay attention to. This will eventually be shown on WillBrattonWx. What do you mean? We're showing it right now. Yeah, this is definitely going to get upgraded to a considerable, by the way, for a golf ball sized hail, without a doubt. This is one giant hail spike coming off of this storm here. On the format? Christopher, good to see you in the chat. Logan, what do you mean by on the format? Like, do you mean on the overlay? Like GR2? It's not going to be shown on GR2 because I can't get that. I can't get those data on GR2. But we will continue to use Canada WX to visualize our Canadian weather. Again, not a lot going on around the U.S. tonight. We're only going to be live for a couple of hours here, and there's that upgrade to our severe thunderstorm warning in Wyoming. That's going to be a considerable severe thunderstorm warning now, and that's going to include Goshen and Laramie counties. You're going to see the borders on this polygon are going to thicken up here in just a minute as soon as it populates. And that shouldn't be long here until that happens. There it goes. Here's a new look at that volumetric scan here. In fact, this still isn't the most updated version, but you can see it's building quickly. We're getting 60 dBz values well above 30,000 feet now, 50 dBz values up to 35,000 feet. So definitely a strong updraft here and easily capable of producing that golf ball sized hail, if not even a little bit higher than that. It's tagged for just golf ball sized hail, but it wouldn't boggle my mind at all to see that around maybe 2-inch to... Yeah, maybe around like 2-inch hail here. If the next scan continues to uptrend, it could easily be up to that tennis ball sized hail. So we'll continue to watch it. It's the most concerning storm on the map right this moment. Down in Arkansas, still watching some other severe thunderstorm action here rolling through Little Rock right now. I was surprised that this didn't get upgraded a little bit ago to a considerable. It doesn't look like it needs a considerable right now. But a little while ago, it definitely seemed like a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust would be possible in there. But this is the most concerning storm on the map by far at the moment. And it's continuing to hold that trend for at least the time being here. They didn't notify. Maybe you could try turning off notifications and turning them back on and see if that'll work for you. Sometimes that's worked for me. Michelle, good to see you in the chat. Cold Jeff, good to see you as well. Playing a war game. What game were you playing? Yeah, if there was a website called Brazil Weather, that'd be good too. It's really difficult to get access to radar information in Brazil. But we have our workarounds. Mikey's going to be there in less than 3 weeks. I cannot wait for that coverage. Just things that really haven't been done before. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah, what Comp Guy 5 said in the chat, a good way to get notifications is by joining the Discord and just selecting the broadcast notifications role. We send out a push notification every time that we're live. So that is a fail-proof method, if that interests you, Christopher. And there's a link to that Discord in the chat. Still some other severe thunderstorm action in Colorado right now. One of them southwest of Pueblo near Gardner. That one probably won't last, or it's got 6 minutes left. There won't be a new one there. Just southeast of Denver, we've got this stronger storm out here, north of Kiowa. And then another one latched onto this boundary down here, closer to Wild Horse or Kit Carson. And that one's still kicking, and it probably will continue for a little while. This is the most intriguing storm on the map right now. Really just a heck of a hail spike coming out of this thing. Just a lot of energy getting returned to the radar unit here. Liam in the chat saying, winter is coming. I'm excited for winter storms to return, much less deadly than tornadoes. Not necessarily true. Winter weather is much more widespread than a single tornado, and it can be really dangerous. It leads to a lot of secondary impacts as well, such as people losing power or getting stranded and freezing. So they bring a lot of different threats. And yes, we're going to be covering winter weather in its entirety. We'll be covering winter storms, winter severe weather, ice, lake effect snow. We'll be covering it all. So we'll be broadcasting more frequently by the time fall and winter roll around. I know it's kind of a lull right now, which is totally okay. Like, we don't want there to be damaging weather, but there is a little bit of a lull right now in terms of that severe weather threat, and really just any dangerous weather type of threat. And that's normal in the summertime. You get a lot of persistent ridging and just get daily thunderstorms all over the place, but really not a robust severe weather threat at any point. So, yeah, we will be covering winter weather fully. Yeah, the transportation impacts can be huge, like car accidents. I mean, things like that as well, and just like also stopping people from being able to travel. People not able to get to the grocery store, for example. I mean, there are so many different secondary impacts of winter weather as opposed to other types of dangerous weather. Did I hear of the Arctic blast bringing temperatures in the 30s in the Ohio Valley? That's not happening. At least not right now, anyway. There's no way that can be accurately forecast. You got to be careful with the information that you take in. A lot of folks just will try to fearmonger you, clickbait, things like that. Again, that's exactly why we started this channel, was to try and combat that, because it's very dangerous, that type of messaging. It leads to a major distrust. I'm in Michigan and it's not that cold at all. Yeah, no, and it's not going to get that cold, at least not yet. It will get that cold eventually, but not yet. And anyone who tries to tell you that they can forecast when that's going to happen exactly, and that it's happening soon, is lying to you. I can confirm that it's very, very, very unlikely that that's going to happen anytime soon. I'll never say never per se, but the odds are like 0.00001%. And it's definitely not going to happen within the next week or two. I think the first time we'll really start to see below freezing temperatures in non-mountainous regions is probably going to be into October here. Still a lot of hail, by the way, with the storm near Meriden or Lagrange out here in southeastern Wyoming. Cold Jeff was playing Entrenched, a popular World War I trench warfare game featuring team-based attack and defend phases, multiple classes, and realistic frontline maps. Nice. I'm going to take a quick check-in on the storm near Meridian, Mississippi, as that one's starting to barrel on across I-20 right now. Still could be bringing those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, not anything super concerning. The storm that is pushing south of Little Rock, south of I-40, that one still could be producing some damaging wind gusts as well, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, excuse me, or maybe a couple of areas of embedded small hail. Probably nothing that would deal any damage, though. And then we have this other storm just south of Wichita that fired off from this incredible outflow boundary from a dissipating thunderstorm here, or a downburst, essentially, but that we had with a storm up here to just to the north of Wichita. And that one could easily be producing 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe some baby hail in there as well. Out in Indiana, still have a severe thunderstorm warning to the southwest of Indianapolis, where that storm seemed like it was maybe trying to develop a mesocyclone, but it's just not going to be able to. Again, everything out here is just very messy. There might even be a very weak mesocyclone in here, but it's just all very messy. Very, very messy. Yeah, Liam, I really appreciate the kind words, my friend. All right, in Arizona, we still have one severe thunderstorm warning. It's actually a new one from what we had earlier. This one, I want to let me scroll in. This is near Lochiel or Lochiel. I honestly have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's in southern Arizona, right on the border of Mexico. And that one could be producing those 60-mile-per-hour winds and 1-inch hailstones in there. You're going to see it's latched onto some sort of a boundary that is extending kind of northward here. I'll go ahead and highlight that. Some sort of a boundary out here. And again, monsoon season in Arizona, so a lot of these pop-up storms are going to continue to remain possible and frequent. And then still watching a total of 5 severe thunderstorm warnings in Colorado right now, including this stronger storm just to the southeast of Denver. That one could be producing that $0.5 sized hail. And obviously, our number one concern on the map, circling back to where we came from, because it's the most interesting storm right now. That one is just to the northeast of Cheyenne, Wyoming, or to the southwest of Lagrange near Meriden. We did just get a flash flood warning, or a considerable flash flood warning here in Arizona. I think that just came up right this second, actually. So that's going to be near Globe or Miami. And this has been an area where there have been a multitude of flash flood warnings over the last couple of weeks. So this must be, I don't honestly know my Arizona geography all that well outside of the Phoenix area, but like this area must be relatively prone to flooding, I'm assuming, because it seems to be flooding a lot. And it might be some sort of like a valley right here. So that could be why. But definitely some flooding that is persisting out there. And that considerable flash flood warning is going to last for another 4 hours. We'll go back to Wyoming. A pretty cool rain shaft I've been watching out of the corner of my eye in the top left of your screen, by the way, on that camera. Where's that one? I'm pretty sure that one's in Colorado. I can't actually read it. Give me a second. I'll tell you exactly where it is. It's in Beverly Hills, Colorado. So that is just outside of Denver, just south of Denver, near Castle Pines. So a pretty cool view from that camera of that rain shaft. It's been on your screen for a while. It's been moving slowly from right to left there. So just a pretty cool view. Some nice clouds out there in Indiana in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And of course, watching the storm out here in Wyoming very closely, as that one is most certainly still producing at least some level of hail here. And again, we're not going to be live super long tonight, maybe just an hour or two, as there really isn't a lot going on this evening, which is, again, a good thing. It's always a good thing when the severe weather doesn't materialize. Can I do your math homework for you? What math? I got a minor in math, so maybe. Probably not, though. I'm washed. What math? All right, it does look like our considerable severe thunderstorm warning here in southeastern Wyoming is beginning to downtrend a little bit, as it's probably going through a cycle, as it probably just dumped out a lot of that hail that it was producing, and it's probably about to start producing more. So we'll probably see it ramp back up here over the next few minutes. Three variable systems. Like, are we talking like algebraically, or are we talking like, partial calculus? Like, what are we talking? Partial derivative calculus? Like, what are we talking about? If you're going to ask me about differential equations, you're out of luck. I'm not going through all that again. Algebra? Well, I could maybe help with that. Three variable linear systems? I mean, maybe I could help with that. I don't know. I'd have to look at exactly what the question is, but can I play some more Entrenched, bro? Please, that game was fun. Dude, you can do whatever you want. I'm not your father. You can do whatever you want. Looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning in Alabama. I missed that a moment ago. It's going to be for the same storm that's near Meridian, Mississippi. And this is just on the other side of the border for Sumter County in Alabama, areas like Cuba, York, and Livingston in western Alabama. 60-mile-per-hour winds, the name of the game out there. Still trying to check in periodically on all these storms out here in Colorado, especially the ones closer to Denver. And this one does still look like there could be a little bit of hail in there for sure. It probably is. Maybe $half size. That's what it's tagged for. And I'm just enjoying watching the show with our little storm out here in southeastern Wyoming, as that one continues to recycle and see if it's going to produce some more hail or not. Rare footage of a bust in Illinois. Honestly, this wasn't even so much of an Illinois threat. Looks like we just got a new considerable severe thunderstorm warning. I think that was in Colorado. So it might be for this storm here, for possibly golf ball sized hail. We're going to see. Yep. It was, in fact. I'm a magician. It's going to be for this severe thunderstorm here just to the southeast of Denver. And that one could be producing up to golf ball sized hail now. It's tracking very, very slowly down towards the southeast here. So it's going to be that storm here. Of course, here is downtown Denver. We are just down to the southeast of downtown Denver. So we now have 2 considerable severe thunderstorm warnings on the map. You can take a little look at this hail core. You're going to see it doesn't look incredibly impressive, but it is decently tall. It's just not that well sheared. Well, actually, no, it's decently sheared. Okay. It's not incredibly well sheared, but there's enough shear there to support it. You're going to see we're launching those 50 dBz values in red, upwards of 30,000 feet to around 35,000 feet, and then those 60 dBz values in magenta getting close to 30,000 feet, just under. Does the new severe thunderstorm warning, does that include my apartment? No, it does not. That's all going to be down here near Meridian. I'm pretty. This storm actually went through my neck of the woods a while ago, but I'm back up here. And this storm has been tracking, diving on down to the south. Here's where I'm at. Starkville, Mississippi, home of Mississippi State University. And our considerable severe thunderstorm warning in Wyoming was just downgraded. It could see a new upgrade if that storm starts to uptrend again, but yeah, Liam, you did spell Mississippi wrong. You were just missing 1 letter. You were close. Ole Miss? No, not Ole Miss. We hate Ole Miss. Hail State is right. Yeah, you got it that time, Liam. No, you're good. You're good, Christopher. A lot of people do make that same mistake. It's no big deal at all. It's not that deep. I mean, for a lot of people, it is that deep. For me personally, it's not that deep, though. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning in Texas. That one's going to be back towards Big Lake to the southwest of San Angelo, for some gustier winds and maybe a little bit of hail out there near Whitco. And we got another one in Alabama near Choctaw County. That is going to be downstream of our little bit of a wind bag that has formed out here, right across the border and crossing I-20 right now as it continues to dive down to the south. Nah, Christopher, you're good. You're good, bro. It's not deep. Everything out in Colorado is doing decent, which makes me think we definitely could see at least some larger hailstones as instability starts to get taken advantage of, and those mid-level lapse rates steepen just a bit here over time. So that'll be something to watch. Again, we've already seen a couple of golf ball-sized hailstones, including this storm right now, just to the southeast of Denver. I'm gonna see if I can find a better camera here. Ooh, that's cool. Let's do that one. That's an awesome camera. Holy sneeze. It's a cool one here. We'll just put a bunch of cameras out in Colorado on the left-hand side of your screen there. Thank you, Liam. I appreciate that. Jodoricious. Thank you for that as well. Or Jodricious. Jodricious? Jodoricious? Jody? Joe? I don't know. Still a hail core. You can see a 3-body scatter hail spike here on this storm near Meriden, southeastern Wyoming. Still watching that one, as it could end up producing up to that golf ball size hail again at some point here. The way things have been trending, this is probably only going to be about like a 2-hour broadcast. Maybe it might end up being our shortest broadcast ever. We'll continue to stay with things, of course, and make sure that there isn't going to be a significant severe weather risk at all before we end the broadcast. But we're going to go at least another hour here. I'd say the earliest we'd end the broadcast is around 8 p.m. Central Time, so about an hour from now. But definitely trending in a good direction, and by that I mean less severe weather. I don't really have allergies. I don't really get them really at all, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I just had like a random sneeze. Like I haven't sneezed all day or anything. I mean, I'm like jinxing myself now. I'm gonna end up sneezing the rest of the night. But I don't really typically get bad allergies at all, which is good. You know, I'm lucky. You recreated my starting song? How did you recreate my starting song? What do you mean by that? Yeah, no, I'm very lucky that I don't have like significant allergies at all. Tim Townsend in the chat checking in from Ruleville, Mississippi, where there might be a couple of stronger storms. Yeah, it does look like that is the case. There are definitely some stronger storms nearby in the Delta. And I'm sure that's going to continue for a little while. Redbird, good to see you in the chat. You used Band Labs and FL Studio. Oh, okay. Nice. We did get another severe thunderstorm warning down here in Colorado. Again, all of these storms are going to pose some level of a severe weather threat if they can sustain themselves and remain organized. As the environment is decent out here for some gustier winds and definitely some hailstones as well for any particularly strong updrafts that can remain organized over some period of time. Not cold, Jeff. I was just playing along, my friend. Yeah, Dolly Parton did pass. That's very, very sad. "2026 has certainly been an interesting year. Legendary people pass away every year, though, and people are like, this year sucks. So many great people are passing away. And it happens every year, sadly. Like, none of us are immune to Father Time. Still some stronger storms out here in Arkansas. Even one splitting the border into Oklahoma there. And yeah, there definitely is some stronger storm potential out here in the Delta, without a doubt. It's possible that one of these ends up with an upgrade to a severe thunderstorm warning, or not an upgrade, but just gets a severe thunderstorm warning issued on it at some point. So someone to pay attention to. Reagan County in Texas still in that severe thunderstorm warning near Whitco for some small hail and some gustier winds in there. The storm literally has not moved an inch. Oh, the radar actually might just be down. Oh, never mind. Okay. It just really hasn't moved at all. Yeah, it's pretty good, Liam. I'm listening to it right now. I'm not going to play it on air, but I am listening to it right now. It's pretty good. And it is pretty similar. Yeah, it's pretty good. Very nice work. There's a nice little outflow boundary getting kicked off here, and I'm definitely interested to see as it kind of sits here in western Denver and starts to interact with the orography of this region here. We could easily see some new storms fire off out here as a result. And here's that boundary. You can see it in all of its glory. And as it continues to push to the west near Littleton, that area could issue initiate, I should say, a bunch of different storms that continue to fire off back through the Denver metro. So something to pay close attention to for sure. Yeah, a lot of outflow boundary action today. There's a really cool one in, I'll show it again. There's this really, really cool one near Wichita a little bit ago. I don't know if I'll be able to get all the frames for it now, but I'll do my best. You can still see how strong this outflow boundary is at the moment. I mean, it's kind of insane looking, to be honest with you, but it's particularly cool when you look at where it came from here. So let's go back as far as I can, see if I can. I can't go all the way back anymore. That's a bummer. So basically what happened is there was a storm over here near Sedgwick, and it had a little bit of a downburst and kicked out this onion ring outflow boundary. and it fired off this other storm here near Oak Lawn. And that one reached severe thresholds for a little while. And so it was a really cool pattern here, but you can just watch this circle just expand and expand and expand and expand outside around Wichita. Really, really cool stuff to see because it happened right near the radar units. You could see it in great detail. So not stuff that you get to see all the time, but still very, very cool when it does happen. Still a handful of stronger storms out here in Colorado, including our considerable severe thunderstorm warning with up to golf ball sized hail. That one does look to be falling apart a little bit just southeast of Denver. So that is the good news. Fun fact. In the song, I used the acoustic guitar sound in the song because I remember you having a guitar in the background of your old studio, and I figured maybe you would like it more. Yeah, I mean, acoustic guitar and piano those are my favorite sounds. I like those clean, classic, very acoustic sounding notes that can come from those instruments, and especially, like it's just not overly processed or overly electronic or anything like that. That's my favorite type of stuff. Like so a lot of my favorite songs, for example, are usually very, very simple in terms of the actual instrumentation. Tyler, good to see you in the chat. I'm in a new studio. I am in my new apartment. Yep. Down in Starkville. I moved down here just under 4 weeks ago. Just about 3 weeks ago, I guess. Yeah, it's just about 3 weeks ago, actually. So yeah, moved down here about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's fair, Liam. All right, let's check in on out here in Nebraska now, as this storm near LaGrange is going to start crossing into Nebraska just to the south of Scottsbluff. And it's still capable of producing some larger hailstones here if it can recycle itself a bit. It's tagged with $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds right now. You can still see a hail spike coming out of it here, so it's still definitely producing some hail, at least at around 3,200 feet. Yeah, shout out Nebraska. And that considerable severe thunderstorm warning was downgraded, by the way. So we have no considerable severe thunderstorm warnings on the map. So that's a good thing. And really not a lot going on in general. There are 17 different severe thunderstorm warning polygons on the map right now. And then there are 2 considerable flash flood warnings, one in Arizona for Gila County and the other in Colorado for El Paso, Fremont, and Pueblo counties here. You can see that one on your screen. It's that little green Dorito chip down here near Cannon City. or south of Colorado Springs. Due south down I-25 out there. I'm eating hamburger helper. I'm a big mac and cheese big mac and cheese fan, so I'm with you on this. You can't have too much mac and cheese unless you're like lactose intolerant, but you know. Yeah, mac and cheese is phenomenal. You can't go wrong with mac and cheese. I mean, you literally just can't. The great thing about mac and cheese is like, yes, at its base, it's just dairy and carbs, right? It's pasta and cheese and milk, whatever. But you can mix it up. You can put in protein into your mac and cheese, such as like a grilled chicken or a fried chicken, or you can put hamburger, you can put in sausage even. Um, and then you can even put some veggies in there. You can throw, like spinach in there or something like that. Like you can make it a full meal and then you can meal prep it. Or you can use it as a side dish, or you can use it as a snack, or you can use it as you know, like a standalone. I mean, there's so many ways. Mac and cheese is just the goat. Just one of the greatest foods of all time. You put tuna. I'm not a big tuna guy. I know a lot of people are pretty big on tuna, and I think it's pretty good for you if I remember correctly. Yeah, tuna is very high in protein, so it's protein dense, low fat. So I mean, that's a pretty good protein to have. I'm a big chicken guy, so like, I mean, I'm not like a big seafood guy in general. But for me, like when I need to get like my protein in, for example, like hitting the gym type of thing, you need protein. I'll usually go with chicken, pork, or beef. Like I'm not the type of guy that's gonna eat like a ton of nuts or something like that to get protein, or like tuna or something like that, or go like out of my way to get, you know like a deer or a veal or like anything like that. Like I'm more of a traditional chicken, beef, and pork type of guy. I need to do a lot of things. Okay, there we go. That's all better now. I keep it simple. Steak, chicken, pork, the three goats. I mean, I agree. Yellowfin albacore. Watching from Live Oak, Florida. Frankie, good to see you in the chat. Very chunky. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. Down in Arizona, by the way, still a severe thunderstorm warning in place near Nogales. Actually, this is a new one, actually. This is a very, very elevated storm here. You're not really going to see the base of this storm until about 8,000 feet. So a very, very elevated storm here. But one that still could be producing some gusty winds at the surface, or maybe a couple of smaller hailstones likely melt before they get there. Out in Indiana, Bartholomew, Brown, Johnson, and Shelby counties, all within a new severe thunderstorm warning along I-65 through like Columbus, Indiana, just south of Indianapolis, with this thunderstorm that is going to continue pushing through the area, bringing those gusty winds as a result. Frankie saying, I like Wild Planet albacore tuna. I don't know what albacore like tuna is, to be honest with you. Like, this is all new to me. Like I said, I'm not really much of a seafood guy, so. Can I look at Colorado? Absolutely. Colorado's been the most active state this evening. And you're going to see all of our severe thunderstorm warnings are just east of Denver. And we're going to get more storms that continue to fire off of the Rockies, especially as we get more outflow boundaries that kick back towards the mountains. So that orography will just force that air directly up. And we'll get some more storm development as a result. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out here. Those are going to include Adams, Arapahoe, Elbert, and let's see, Lincoln, and Washington counties out here in Colorado. We had other severe thunderstorm warnings as well. There was one closer to Kit Carson earlier that has begun to fade. The storm is falling apart along that outflow boundary there. And then in southern Colorado, we'll probably get another severe thunderstorm warning here at some point soon with those storms. There's not really going to be any type of rotation or tornadic threat with any of these storms here in Colorado today. So you shouldn't really have to worry about anything tornadic at all. But definitely still some stronger thunderstorms producing some hail and some gustier winds for sure. But not really any rotation or anything to worry about out there in terms of a tornado threat anyway. Wild Planet salmon is to die for, Christopher says. Lorian, good to see you in the chat. Are you off work? Hopefully now. It's been a very, very chill night. Our severe weather risk really fell apart, which is great news. So we probably won't be live that much longer. I'm probably going to end things off here around 8 Central Time. So about 40 more minutes. Might end up being our shortest broadcast ever tonight. I don't think we've ever done one. I don't think anyway that was less than 3 hours. This one's going to clock in only around 2 hours, unless something changes. We'll be live longer if we need to be. But you're doing your lit review soon. That'll be super fun. Still watching this storm, by the way, that's crossing into Nebraska south of Scotts Bluff, as it's still producing some hail. Not nearly as potent as it looked earlier, though. Yeah, I'll probably be live tomorrow, Tyler, for the threat in the Northeast, for sure. Very, very likely. And then Friday, we will probably be off, maybe Saturday as well. We'll see what develops. We probably won't have a broadcast Friday or Saturday, though, the way things are looking anyway. And next week might be a little bit more active. This week's been very, very calm. We didn't hardly even need a forecast video per se this week. Obviously, we always want to put them out, even when there's clear sky conditions, to make sure everyone knows what's going on. But there wasn't like a, man, we have to get one out today because there's a severe weather threat type of deal at any point. Monster, good to see you in the chat. It wasn't Lorian's birthday. It was Taylor's birthday. Am I going to watch another Never Stop Chasing movie? It looks good. Yeah, I am going to get around to it at some point. I'm going to have to find a way to watch it. But I'll definitely be watching it at some point. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't make the cut for the red carpet premiere out in New York. How is Maryville, Indiana looking? We'll take a look. I don't know where Maryville is. See if we can find it. Give me a moment. I'll find it. Oh. Wait. I don't think this is what... Is this what you were asking for? You said Maryville. This is Merrillville. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe this is what you were asking for, like Northwestern Indiana, Pixel Pirate. If that's what you're asking for, Northwestern Indiana, you're all good. Looks like there's a little bit of a pop-up storm near that area right this moment, but nothing concerning. My place file manager keeps disappearing on me. Take a look at some lightning out here. Looks like there isn't really any, so that's good. A lot more lightning just south of Indy, though. Have I ever seen a professor have a 100% success rate or passing rate? No. It's not really possible because it's not entirely in the professor's hands. A lot of folks will just not show up to class to take the exams, whatever. Like they basically will drop out, or like maybe they have a family issue and so they fail the class or whatever it is. I've never seen that personally. It might exist, but I haven't looked that hard. We'll go on back to Colorado. Still got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings out here, just east of Denver, um, along I-70. That's going to go through a deer trail and a gate. There's some stronger storms out there. Maybe some hailstones mixed in up to maybe $half size, if I had to guess. It's tagged for 1-inch hail. A lot of rain in there for sure. Probably a lot of lightning. Okay, not a lot of lightning. There is some lightning, just not a lot though. 0 for 2. Matthew Capucci in the chat saying, there's a puffy cloud over me. I think it's following me. Capucci, we talked about on the on Met Monday for those who didn't see Matthew Capucci. We made a joke about him having like just that one cloud like in the cartoon that just follows you over your head wherever you go, and it just rains directly on you. That was pretty funny. It was Met Monday was a good time. I mean, it's been a good time both of the first 2 weeks, but obviously the interview with Matthew Capucci was a lot of fun. If you haven't checked that out yet, definitely recommend it. It's definitely a good watch. A little bit of a longer one. We're gonna really start to nail that down so we get our timing a little better and we don't run 45 minutes over the allotted time. But that's a topic for another day. We'll continue to do our best on that. Again, still stronger storms and new ones starting to fire off right in the Denver area. And this is what I was talking about a little bit ago, where we had some of these other dissipating thunderstorms just east of Denver that were kicking out outflow boundaries towards the mountains, and then just orographic uplift there, forcing a new thunderstorm development here. Look at this ring that starts to kick out. It's a little difficult to see. It's faint here, but watch this ring as it continues off towards the mountains. And then as it starts to collide with the mountains, you start to get a lot more explosive thunderstorm development. Looks like there was already at least one other storm that was starting to fire off right before that even got there, before that outflow boundary even got there, near Layden or Golden. And then that continued over time. Now we've got a big old cluster of storm. It's not like a multi-cell type of thing. So it seems anyway. It's just a little messy thunderstorm developing right over basically downtown Denver. So a stronger thunderstorm out there. That one might get severe thunderstorm warned before the Denver metro pretty soon here. We'll see what happens with that. So medical professor at Eastern West Virginia Technical and Community College. Okay. Told me on the phone that she does. And I said, that's incredible. Interesting. Lorian off to read more about tropical cyclone tornado genesis and outbreak modeling. Sounds fun. Sounds very fun. Tornadoes are year-round in 2026. Yeah, tornadoes are year-round in really any year. What you guys know about the lunar eclipse that's coming tomorrow? Killer King with the $2 super chat saying, how about Indiana? I'll tell you how about it. Bartholomew, Brown, Johnson, and Shelby counties within a severe thunderstorm warning just south of Indy. That's near I-65. There's a lot of general thunderstorms with this trailing cold front. We just got a new one, by the way, for Bloomington as I'm talking about this. But a trailing cold front here with that low pressure system over the Great Lakes. And it's bringing some rather disorganized and sporadic thunderstorm development along that cold front there. But you're going to see the strongest of these storms at the moment anyway are just south of Indy, near Bloomington or Franklin out here in southern Indiana. And that's kind of just south of 70 or along 65 out here. That's going to be the case. All these are bringing those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe some baby hail in there, but nothing particularly damaging. I feel like sometimes some people just name cities based off of whatever word comes to mind first. Yeah, I mean, that is true. No such thing as tornado season in 2026. Yeah, there really isn't. 2026 is tornado season. Did I see that the northern lights could occur right at the same time as the lunar eclipse? I did not see that. No. I did not catch that. Man. Tim Curry died today. Yeah. A lot of folks are, or a lot of celebrities per se have passed along in the last few days. So definitely very sad to see. Am I doing a stream tomorrow evening for the eclipse? Probably not. I mean, I am doing a stream tomorrow evening, but not for the eclipse. Yeah, Dolly Parton passed away yesterday. That's a big one. Dolly Parton was also 80. Still watching along I-70. This time all the way in Colorado, though. Very, 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 very far down I-70 from where we were looking in near Indianapolis earlier. But along I-70 out here near Deer Trail, Lyman, and a gate. Some stronger thunderstorms out there. There's really not a lot going on around the U.S. right now, which is, again, good news. I do think we're still going to see at least a couple instances of larger hailstones out here, eastern Colorado into maybe the Nebraska Panhandle before the end of the evening here. We're probably not going to stay live that much longer, though, maybe until about 8 p.m., another 20 minutes or so. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. If things start to uptick a little bit, then we'll stay live for sure. But it seems like that severe weather threat back towards the Midwest and towards the Ohio Valley is really falling apart, which is obviously great news. But it means that we probably won't be live for quite as long. Sorry, I was running over one of my cables here. I was like, why am I? I'm stuck. I can't move. I think a tornado in Colorado is very unlikely. It would take a mesoscale accident essentially to get that. There's a lot of storm collision and just mess in general. In the DCVZ, of course, a Denver convergence vorticity zone, a very, very famous phenomenon. We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning just popped up here for Denver, and we talked about that just a moment ago. It is going to be tagged for 60-mile-per-hour winds and up to 1-inch hail in there. Lard Biscuit, 58 in the chat. Thank you for tuning in and for being in the chat, and I appreciate the kind words. I hope you're doing well tonight and staying safe. Of course, not a ton of severe weather going on, which is always a good thing. Down in Smith County, Mississippi, by the way, we did get a new severe thunderstorm warning that popped up, and rather a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. It's also going to include Newton and Scott counties in Mississippi, and then Choctaw County in Alabama. Just some general pop-up stronger storms out here. A lot of outflow boundary action. Look at all these outflow boundaries just all over the map. My voice sounded really weird when I said a lot of, for some reason. I don't know if anyone caught that. But just a lot of outflow boundary action down here in Dixie. The Ross Fire has grown to over 80,000 acres in Texas. Wow. In Arkansas, by the way, still looking at some stronger storms out here, splitting the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas near Broken Bow, Eagletown, and DeQueen. And then towards more of central Arkansas, still a lot of thunderstorms in general with a lot of lightning. But none of these are particularly severe, just generally thunderstorms as they continue to push south out of the Little Rock area. And that's just going to continue for the next couple of hours or so, but not really a significant severe potential in there. Maybe a couple of isolated instances of severe weather embedded in it, but not anything super major. Leaves are already changing in Arkansas. I find that hard to believe. It's definitely not because of the colder weather. Liam Wolf, good to see you in the chat. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump back into Colorado real quick here, as these are the most intriguing and concerning storms simultaneously at the moment anyway. I'm going to see if I can get us a little bit of a better camera as well. I'll pull in like right out of downtown Denver where there's just a lot of heavy rain at the moment. See if I can find something. Whoa, that one's crazy. I'm going to put this one in the top left. That's kind of crazy. Look at that camera. Looks like something like a downburst or something going on right now on this camera. So this is just west of like the center of downtown Denver near Lakewood. And it looks like there's some sort of a downburst or something. I mean, this is kind of insane. Just very, very aggressive wind right here. Super, super, super aggressive wind. And you can see just sheets of rain. It looks like the camera might have gone down, just froze here. But sheets and sheets of rain coming across the screen and right across the highway there. I'm going to refresh the source and see if that'll, there you go. Yeah, look at this. People driving real slow with their hazards on. I mean, that guy's just crawling. That guy's going like 10 miles an hour. Looks like some sort of a downburst out here just west of Denver. I mean, this is basically in downtown Denver near Lakewood. And man, that's pretty intense. I'll keep that on the left, in the top left-hand corner of your screen there. But that one just, that camera keeps freezing, which is not incredibly surprising. I mean, that almost looks like a loop. Every time I refresh it, I think it's playing the same thing again. Yeah. You see, that's that same car going like 10 miles an hour. So something's wrong with that camera, but there is very heavy precipitation out there nonetheless. I'm going to keep that camera in the top left in case it starts working properly again. In the bottom left, here's another camera from just about the same area. Seeing if I can find any other decent cameras. Yeah, nothing super great that I'm able to get here. 60 dB Z values over that Lakewood, Colorado camera. Yeah. Let's take a, let's see, what am I seeing on the radar loop in Tallahassee? Okay, we'll go down there. Why not? Give me just a moment. Could be bugs. Could be birds or bugs or something like that. I think this is probably birds or bugs that we're seeing here. It's possible a couple of these are, these are all really only at the lowest level here. I mean, these are probably just like groups of birds or bugs flying around. That's most likely what it is. I mean, we can try to, yeah. Okay, you see how all of these are blue? Even where you've got like this little ball here. So your correlation coefficient is basically telling you that whatever targets the radar is hitting here are changing shape dramatically. That's what that blue indicates on the CC, which is the same reason that we can indicate when it's co-located with where you might have a tornado. That's why you're looking at a possible debris signature, because debris is something that is it tumbles and changes shape a lot because it's not spherical, right? So as it changes orientation, the radar is going to receive a different wavelength reflected from that. And so what you're probably seeing here are insects or birds or something like that. Stuff that is a lot of folks don't know about. It's actually pretty common to see that on radar, but a lot of folks don't know what it is. So cool stuff to talk about for me as a weather nerd. Everett Week saying, in Castle Rock, watching the Denver storm from my window. Very nice. Why did the tornado threat decrease since this morning? So there was a lower confidence this morning in having a more organized storm mode along our cold front that's pushing through. And also, what we noticed is that model guidance trended farther towards a much less favorable lowest kilometer of the atmosphere, essentially not as good of shear in the lowest kilometer of the atmosphere. So that dramatically decreased our tornado risk as well. Christine, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, Scott, you're 100% right. 100% right. That bird and bug radar business does show up a lot of the time around sunset. And it can show up a lot of times around sunrise too, when bugs start to take off from lakes and things like that, for example. That kind of sit there in the evenings. At least the models actually caught on to it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Wow. Roost ring. See, Lard Biscuit asking, what do things look like for tonight in the heart of Dixie? Not anything Crazy. So a lot of thunderstorms that are going to persist for a while, especially back towards the Mississippi Delta. And those are going to last for at least a couple more hours and probably into the overnight hours, at least a little bit. But in general, all these storms just continuing on down to the south or even the southeast. And they'll eventually fizzle out over time here as a lot of that instability gets used up. But not a major concern at all down here in Dixie. Yeah, the models haven't been performing that great this year, and that's largely due to a lack of weather balloons being launched. A model is only as good as the data it ingests. Capucci saying there's a bug flying around in my apartment and the radar is not being remotely helpful. Capucci, what you need to get is one of those like electric fly swatter things. You know what I'm talking about? I zapped my buddy with one of those. It was his choice. He volunteered to do it. He was like, I want to touch it. And I was like, all right. So I held the button down and he touched it. And it was like, so funny. That was like a month ago or something like that. Storm near Deer Trail trying to attach to the boundary. It very well might be. Let's take a look. It's kicking off its own boundary here. Not really attaching onto much of anything. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, no, you're right. It's trying to attach, or perhaps not attach onto this. It might just be creating its own RFD here. It's like trying to generate a little bit of circulation. Again, I don't think there's going to really be any type of a tornado risk with this this evening in Colorado, but we'll watch it. We'll watch it closely just in case. Weather Wisdom, good to see you in the chat. I did hear about Nepal. It is very devastating, the footage that was coming out of there. I know Capucci actually had to spend a lot of time covering that today as well. How's Bloomington, Indiana looking? There is a severe thunderstorm warning out in that area. And it's going to be moving out of your area soon. There's not a ton, or there is a lot of lightning with this. There's not a ton of lightning with most of these other storms in Indiana, but the one in Bloomington specifically does have a decent amount of lightning. And it's just going to continue on down towards the southeast. It's just riding along that cold front. So it'll be out of your neck of the woods for in maybe an hour or so, maybe less. Looks like maybe there's a little cell near Gosport or Spencer that's trying to fire off just behind it. So you might get a little bit more rain and rumbles of thunder, but again, it's going to continue to move out of your area. It's not anything that you need to be super, super concerned about. Just don't go outside with an umbrella or anything metal. Don't stand under a tree. But some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts definitely possible in there. Maybe some baby-sized hail. Nothing that should deal any damage, though. Considering I accidentally blew up a lamp I purchased in Turkey, I don't think I should own a bug zapper. Yeah, I would be hesitant to trust you with anything like that as well. Then. Yeah, storms are moving quite slow in Indiana. The National Weather Service office out of Indy has this one tagged for moving at 15 miles per hour to the southeast. So these things are crawling. So again, I know it looks like it's already almost out of your neck of the woods in Bloomington, but it might still be another full hour until it's, fully pushed off to your southeast. I didn't see that it registered as a small earthquake with that landslide. Apparently it was a glacier failed. Like there was some sort of a fault in the glacier and it failed, and that's what happened. That's what I read anyway. I haven't looked into it, so you're gonna have to fact check me on that. Don't take my word for it, but I did hear something along those lines. Or by here, I mean I read it on Twitter like briefly, but I haven't had a lot of time today to look closely into it because I had to teach lab today. But I actually taught radar meteorology lab today. What I'm doing right now. I went from work to work doing the exact same thing, looking at the radar. Or I guess I really more so assisted with the lab today because a lot of it was them setting up their radar or their radar software, I should say. What about Bloomington, Indiana? That's where I was just at. Out here in Bloomington, Indiana, still got some stronger storms. A lot of lightning, might still be another hour or so until they're off fully to your southeast. But definitely a stronger storm, maybe some baby hail in there. Not anything super damaging, and perhaps a couple of gustier or a couple of stronger wind gusts up to maybe 60 miles per hour. But not anything super concerning with that wind threat here. There's a lot of lightning with this storm, though, near Bloomington. The landslide caused the 5.2 magnitude earthquake. Okay, so there was an earthquake first that triggered the glacier to fail, and that resulted in the mudslide, which triggered a second, well, not a second earthquake, but it registered as if there was a second earthquake. Got it. Got it. No naders? Yeah, no tornado threat for you in Indiana or in Bloomington, I should say. Not at the moment, at least. Yeah, Comp Guy, we're doing a lot of educational segments on Met Monday and in the shorts that we try to put out, like short form content on all platforms to help do a little bit of that educational stuff. And once I have more resources at my disposal, I am going to spend a lot more time doing dedicated educational segments. So essentially, they won't be like, oh, someone asks about downbursts, so I go to Canada. So I have a blank map and I draw downbursts and what that looks like and explain it. But it'll be more of like, I take the time to write out about a topic, and then we make a dedicated video, short form content, like, anywhere from like 1 to 5 minutes, doing a crash course on that topic. So we're going to do more of those as we have more time. But Met Monday is a really good way to get into learning a little more, and also just watching more of my broadcasts, because especially when things are calm like this, I tend to do a lot of educational segments like we did just randomly talking about the radar unit detecting birds and bugs and things like that. We did haboobs. We've done downbursts. We've done downbursts multiple times at this point. We've done all sorts of different things, even a little bit of supercell structure. So yeah, and some of those have been already created into shorts, so you can look at them on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. They're posted everywhere, so you can give those a look in the meantime. I've never been in an earthquake. I never have. In St. Louis, we always talk about the inevitable day. It could be tomorrow or it could be, 100 years from now, where down in New Madrid, that fault breaks. And there's a massive earthquake that comes from that. But I've never been in an earthquake myself. I've always wondered what that feels like when the ground is shaking. Yes, the massive landslide itself generated the seismic energy that was registered as a 5.2 magnitude earthquake. Got it. Yeah, water is unbelievably powerful. Like I think a lot of folks don't appreciate the power of water enough sometimes. Um, it is insane. Yeah, some wicked lightning out there in Bloomington. I believe you. Moving to Missouri, that's my neck of the woods, or where I'm from anyway. Not where I'm at right now, but what's the most intense severe weather I've experienced? I was on the EF3 Bogachita tornado back on May 6th. I'd say that's probably the most intense um, severe weather event that I've been in. That was a tornado emergency event and just a really, really powerful supercell. The Mayfield tornado was picked up on seismographs. That's crazy. I didn't know that, to be honest with you. You've been in hundreds living in California? Yeah. 7.1. That's crazy. Time for me to film the storm. Yeah, get yourself some good lightning photos. There's been a lot of good lightning out here in Mississippi lately with the random evening storms that we've had numerous times. Just a lot of good anvil crawlers that we've had. Liam, welcome back. Things are much, much calmer. You're going to notice 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Colorado, 2 in Indiana, where we were just looking, and 1 in Mississippi. That's it. Only 5 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map, 2 flash flood warnings. The one in Colorado has been downgraded. Actually, I think this is just an entirely new one from what we had earlier. Yeah, it is. And that's just a normal flash flood warning that's going to last for another 2.5 hours. And then we have a considerable flash flood warning for Gila County in Arizona. Again, that's back towards Globe in Miami, where there have been a lot of flash flood warnings lately. So I think that must be some sort of a valley or some sort of flood prone area. Of course, being monsoon season down there in the desert Southwest, they've been getting a lot of precipitation lately. And then down in Mississippi, this is going to be for Newton and Scott counties. Still have 1 more severe thunderstorm warning for another 14 minutes. It may not last that full duration. We'll see. But some stronger storms still out here with a decent amount of lightning across Alabama and Mississippi, as well as Arkansas, even into the Mississippi Delta. I think we could easily see some stronger storms out there that maybe reach severe thresholds in the Delta over the next hour or so. But not anything super concerning. It would just be like isolated instances of up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, or maybe a random storm that's able to produce a couple of hailstones. Not anything super concerning at all. And yeah, other than that, I mean, there's really just not much going on right now. And we are actually down to just 1 severe thunderstorm warning in Indiana now. So we have 4 on the map. It's just the Bloomington one. That one's still tagged for 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe some baby hail in there. Liam saying, can I make a custom song for you? You can if you want. I can't guarantee that we would ever use it, but you're welcome to, but no guarantee. Christopher, have a great night. No, it's not Roll Tide. It is very much not Roll Tide. Do I think that's it for Central Indiana tonight? Let me I'll show you. Generally, yes. And now there might be a residual thunderstorm that pops up, but in general, this cold front is pushing through. You're going to have mostly sinking motion behind this. A lot of instability has been used up by this cold front, which is pushing out these scattered storms here, and it's going to continue off to your southeast. So really in Indiana, not much of a concern for really any type of weather for the rest of the night. I can show you what the 23Z HER is saying about it. Doesn't hurt. You're going to see through the overnight hours, literally nothing going on, even by the afternoon tomorrow in the Indiana area. So you are all out of the woods. But again, it is possible that we have a random thunderstorm that still exists behind everything. You're going to see the HER is actually even suggesting that we have one maybe until 9 p.m. near Fort Wayne. So maybe 10 p.m. So something to pay attention to, but not anything to be worried about, just general thunderstorms. And again, that's not really central Indiana. That's northeastern Indiana. So you're welcome, Christine. Have a great rest of your night if you're heading out. The New Madrid fault was capable of producing greater than an 8.2 magnitude earthquake for sure. Yeah, they always talked about it when I was a kid as like it had happened only once before, and it created an earthquake that was so powerful that it temporarily reversed the direction of the Mississippi River, like on a local scale. Like all that water got displaced, all of that mass, and it just caused the Mississippi to flow the wrong direction for, not a long time, like a couple of minutes maybe, but um, yeah, that's there's a lot of energy that is stored down there. We did just get a flash flood warning put in place for the Bloomington area in Smithville, by the way. This is going to be for Monroe County in Indiana, and it's going to last for another about 4 hours here. So until basically midnight, or until it's actually through exactly midnight, basically here. So the Cascadian subduction zone and the San Andreas Fault are actually connected. I mean, plate tectonics would make me think that makes sense. But it is of course the subduction with your oh gosh, I need to remember my geology. It's a subduction zone between a continental plate and an oceanic plate, where that continental plate is a little less dense. So that oceanic plate just gets subducted on down there. And as some of that rock begins to melt, it starts to bubble back up. I learned so much on these streams. I'm glad. I'm glad. That is definitely a goal. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning in Arkansas, by the way. And it's the same storm that's been causing some issues near the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, of course, headed down now towards just the corner here of Texas, the northeasternmost corner of Texas. Yeah, I am technically a certified teaching assistant. I have a certificate for that now, which I need to download. They sent it to me and I never downloaded it. I probably should do that at some point. Cascadia shoots energy into the San Andreas Fault. Yeah. Our severe thunderstorm warning in Mississippi and also both of them in Colorado are going to expire here in, let's see, just about 9 minutes. So we're going to wait for that to happen, see if we get some new ones. And then we honestly might end up calling it for the night here, as there's just really not a lot going on. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings out in Colorado. One of them is near Denver right now, as it looks like this is becoming less problematic. So we might not get a new severe thunderstorm warning on this one. You can see those winds are surging out a little bit close to the airport, probably not reaching 60-mile-per-hour thresholds here. Maybe 40 to maybe 40, 50-mile-per-hour gusts with those winds. And then back towards Deer Trail. That one's not very concerning at all to me, to be honest with you. Still a lot of, or still numerous clusters, excuse me, numerous updrafts. My goodness. With this cluster of storms. But yeah, not anything super concerning. Maybe a couple smaller hailstones out here near Deer Trail, up to an inch or so. And then the storm that is now in the Nebraska Panhandle has fallen apart, so that's good news up there. And that's really all that's going on right now, besides our severe thunderstorm warning down near Bloomington. That one's going to last another 22 minutes. But we're going to stay on air at least until 8:15 here to see what happens if we get any new severe thunderstorm warnings on those existing ones. Again, because 3 of them are about to expire. And we did actually just get a new one down in Newton County, Mississippi. So that one's going to be headed down towards Newton and Roberts, tagged for 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe some small hail in there as well. Possibly a tornado came through Bloomington, multiple trees and power lines down. Some home damage. It was probably a microburst, if I had to guess here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Ooh. Wait, maybe not. There was really strong anticyclonic flow right here for a quick second. I mean, well, this is way south of Bloomington, though. This is pretty far down 37. Let me go back in time a little bit here. Possibly a low precip hook. Maybe. It's pretty unlikely that it was a tornado, but it's definitely not impossible. If there was one, it would have been very low end. So hopefully everyone's okay out there. Quarter mile of a path. Interesting. Yeah, there is a lunar eclipse tomorrow for sure. That is definitely somewhat exciting, or at least interesting. We did get a new severe thunderstorm warning that was put in place here in Colorado, by the way. And it's just for this smaller cell out here in Lincoln and Washington counties, pardon me. And that one's going to be tagged for $0.5 size hail and some gusty 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts perhaps as well. But nothing very concerning out there. And again, we're going to wait another 5 minutes here for these other warnings to expire. We did just get new ones on both of those storms. But we're going to stay live for just another couple of minutes here for sure to make sure that everything's okay. It would be absolute pandemonium in the Western U.S. Oh, yeah. I mean, if San Andreas has another huge quake, New Madrid has a huge quake, like those would be pretty catastrophic events. I mean, those are the two most significant concerns for earthquakes in the continental United States, as far as I'm aware. Lard Biscuit 58, have a great rest of your night, my friend. Stay safe out there, and we will see you soon. Don't forget about the Cascadia. That too. That too. And that's responsible for a lot of the orography of that region in Seattle, by the way. Very interesting stuff. Let's go look at it. Well, Yellowstone, yes, but that's more of a I mean, that's a volcanic event rather than like a like an earthquake type of event. But yeah, if we look over here, what you're seeing is the oceanic plate here is undergoing subduction over this continental plate, which is the North American plate. And then eventually, over time here, as it goes off further in distance, like here's the oceanic plate and here's that continental plate. So oceanic and continental with an O and a C. Eventually, it gets warm enough down here where this rock begins to melt, and you get these plumes of magma that move up to the surface, and that creates your volcanoes essentially. The same thing happens in like the Ring of Fire, like where Hawaii is, for example, and that's Well, I mean, the Ring of Fire or Hawaii itself is a hotspot, but the same thing happens with the Ring of Fire, all around the Pacific there with all those volcanoes. So that's why you get these types of mountains and these volcanoes and things like that out there. It's due to that subduction zone. Okay. What do we got? We got a new severe thunderstorm warning in Indiana downstream of our Bloomington storm. So Bloomington almost out of the woods now, or out of the weeds, I should say. And this new severe thunderstorm warning for both Bartholomew, Brown, Jackson, and Lawrence counties in Indiana here, as this storm continues to push on to the southeast. A quake like the 1886 Charleston event would be incredibly devastating considering how much the southeast coastal population has grown since then. Yeah. Last time Cascadia went off, it was a 9.0 and shook for 5 minutes. That's insane. At a 7.9 secondary quake. Jeez. It's nuts. Absolutely insane. And it is 8:15. So now a couple of those severe thunderstorm warnings have expired. One in Mississippi, one in Colorado. And we're back down to just 5 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map here. And in another 15 minutes, the one for Bloomington will expire. They might, they're probably going to shrink that one down somewhat soon, not just yet. Yeah, total of 5 severe thunderstorm warnings on the map. 1 in Colorado, 1/2 in Indiana, 1 in Mississippi, 1 in Arkansas, and that's it. We did get another flash flood warning, by the way, that was put in for the storms near Deer Trail. I don't know if I actually mentioned that. It was a few minutes ago. And that one is going to expire in 3 hours here. And yeah, so still a long ways to go on that one. That's a much newer flash flood warning, and that's going to include, let's see, Adams, Arapahoe, and Elbert counties in Colorado here, just east of Denver along I-70. But yeah, with that being said, we're probably going to go ahead and end off the broadcast here, unless anybody has any questions or anything about the rest of the night. If anyone wants me to talk about their area, let me know now. I'm happy to do that, especially because things are so calm. So just let me know. And then I'm going to go get myself some dinner because all I had today was a wrap that I picked up at a drive-thru today. Will Cincinnati get hit bad? No. So let's go over there. Cincinnati going to get some scattered showers and storms associated with this cold front that's continuing to push on down to the southeast. And you're going to see that it is in fact scattered. Everything is very, very messy with this line of storms. It has not been very organized. It hasn't been very robust, and that trend will continue. It's possible that Cincinnati, things kind of dissipate with these storms, and Cincinnati doesn't really get much at all. So, yeah, but in general, not much of a severe weather threat for Cincinnati tonight. It is possible that a stronger storm does pop up and you do end up with a little bit of severe weather, but it wouldn't be anything crazy. There's not even much lightning with these storms that are out here rolling towards Cincinnati right now. You're going to see only a couple bolts of lightning popping up near Connorsville, and those are the storms that are headed down towards Cincinnati. So nothing super, super concerning, but definitely pay attention just in case. You are welcome, Katie. Have a great rest of your night. Yeah, liking and subscribing, the number one way that you can support the work that we do, like Scott said in the chat. So very much appreciate anyone who does like and subscribe. It does mean a lot to both myself and the team. Our team has grown to about 30 members strong. So Frankie, you're welcome. Have a great rest of your night. Yeah, if nobody else has any questions, we'll go ahead and probably end things off here. I'll see if I can find somebody to raid. If anyone's chasing. I don't know if maybe like Brandon Kopic might be storm chasing. He probably is. Yeah. Oh, no, he's not chasing right now. I don't think anybody is live right now. Literally nobody. There's nobody to even raid. I literally can't even find anybody that's live. So, fair enough, I guess. I guess we won't be raiding anybody tonight. But yeah. What do I teach? I teach forecasts. I teach the senior level meteorology courses at Mississippi State University. So I teach, and I don't teach them. I'm the TA for them. So I run the labs. I teach the labs per se, but I'm not the instructor of the entire course. But I teach the labs for those courses and help the students with their coursework as well. And that's for forecasting 1 and 2 at Mississippi State, and then radar meteorology. And then in the spring, I don't know what my second class will be. I think it might end up being applied climatology. So we'll see. Bunga is live. Fair enough. We need a 5th. Bo, I have to eat. I haven't even eaten dinner today. All I have is a wrap I bought at a drive-through. I need to go pick up some dinner. Thank you, Will, for the Cincy, Hamilton, Ohio area forecast. Lots of watch parties going on with the team in the Little League World Series elimination game playing right now on ESPN. You're absolutely welcome. Have a great rest of your night, and I hope everything goes well. I hope your team wins. No, I would love to play with you guys, Bo and Mason and Bryce, and I don't know who else is in the stack. You say you need one more. I guess I can just look. You guys have Jalen and Blake. Surely you guys are good. Drink your dinner. I'll probably have a beverage tonight. A good old Miller Lite to cap off the night. Since when has Blake played the video game? Okay, you make a very good point. I forgot that he hasn't like touched the game since like April. Bo, if I'm not doing something this weekend and you guys are on, ping me. I will be there. They're talking about Valorant. we all played collegiate Valorant together. In fact, Bo is our coach. So he played with us, and then he became the coach when he graduated like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, make sure to join our Discord server as well. Like and subscribe. I don't really got anything else for you guys. I'm kind of just dragging it on here at this point because we're all hanging out together in the chat. I do need to go get dinner. I'm starving. Like my stomach is audibly growling. I know you guys can't hear it because my mic is really sensitive, or it doesn't pick up like really small sounds. Like it does a lot of good noise elimination, background noise elimination. But yeah. Played. That's sad. Yeah, I know. I just haven't played. The last time I played was also like April, or at least consistently. I played like a couple of times since then. Like 2 or 3 times or something like that. I've hardly played at all since April. I know Aiden's been killing it. Where's Aiden at? Get him to play. Eat pizza. It's not a bad idea. It's funny you say that because I need to go to the grocery store and I'll finally have time to do that tomorrow. I ran out of food on Sunday, so I've been eating out for the last like 4 days because I haven't had time to go to the grocery store and eating snack food too at home. But I'll finally be able to go to the grocery store tomorrow. Monday through Wednesday are very busy for me, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are very, very chill. So I got like 3 days on, 4 days off type of beat. Not literally off because I do have an 8 a.m. on Thursday and a 9 a.m. on Friday, but that's it. That's all I have on those 2 days. I just have a morning class and then I'm done for the day. So Barbecue chicken pizza. That does sound good. Oh my gosh. You guys got to stop talking about food. My stomach is growling. It's roaring at me. It's like thunder. All right. That being said, we're going to go ahead and end the broadcast. We are 16 likes shy of 100. So if you haven't liked, make sure to do that. I greatly appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. Bo, Mason, Bryce, and whoever ends up playing with you guys, if it's Jalen or Blake or Aiden or anybody, good luck. I hope you guys win your games. And yeah, have a great rest of your guys' night. I got to eat some food. I am starving. Everyone stay safe. If you need anything, ping me in my Discord server, and I'll try to get back to you. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for the threat that's going to ramp up again in the Northeast. And yeah, everyone have a great rest of your night.